What's up guys, Firewolf here, showing you guys the ASUS TUF Gaming GeForce RTX 4080 Super Overclocked Edition. This beauty comes in this awesome dark gunmetal gray color, which pairs perfectly with an all black build. It has 16 gigs of VRAM and an overclock speed of 2640 MHz, which brings the retail price to a whopping $1,099. Which is only $100 over the base 4080 Founders Edition. If you can find the non-overclock version, you can save $100. However, they're pretty rare to come by. ASUS recommends a 850 watt power supply, and make sure your PC case has enough space to accommodate this beefy card, which measures at 348.2 by 150 by 72.6 millimeters. Before we get into the benchmark, let's unbox the ASUS TUF Gaming 4080 Super. Really excited to see how this is gonna look. Now, starting off with the actual box here, is actually very interesting. Out of all the graphics cards that I have unboxed so far, this one has a really nice and unique shape. You can see right on the side here, we have the Overclocked Edition, 60 gigabytes of VRAM. We have more details of this graphics card right on the back as well. Let's go ahead and open this up. Alright, here is the inside of the box here. Again, it's going to be a nice black, and overall I'm loving the design of this packaging here. We can see the TUF Gaming logo, and definitely a cool looking box. Alright, and there we have the 4080 Super. It's going to come wrapped in this beautiful anti-static bag. Alright, and there we have it, wrapped in all this plastic here, which I am going to peel off. But first I'm going to show off more of what we get inside the box. But overall, this is a nice looking GPU. Let's put that to the side. As the first thing inside the box, we're going to have a 3-piece CIe to the new 12-volt high power adapter here. Love it or hate it, I like the simplicity of this power cable. Alright, next thing we're going to have is a TUF Gaming branded Velcro strap. To be honest, I have no idea what this is for. Alright, the next thing we're going to have is an anti-sag GPU bracket here. Here it's like a pillar style, and it does have the TUF logo on it as well. And you just basically unscrew it and you can adjust the height of it, and it also doubles up as a Phillips screwdriver here. A nice hidden touch, and it's my personal favorite, to be very honest. I don't like the other types of brackets that I've seen in other GPUs, and this is definitely one I'm going to actually use. Next, we're going to have a black envelope with all of our documents. All right, and right inside of that, we're going to have a little gaming card here. You see TUF Gaming, letting you know the overclocking and the high dissipation. It's a nice, cool little touch. We're going to have a warranty card, instructions on how to use the GPU holder, a certificate of reliability, how to properly use the connector, a quick start guide, and then here is a cardboard holder here. All right, now to the fun part here. Let's go ahead and unveil all of this plastic, starting with one of the corners here. I'm definitely loving this dark gunmetal gray color. It looks absolutely beautiful. Got some more plastics on the middle of the fan. You see TUF Gaming, GeForce RTX, and a nice TUF logo over here. It's definitely a relatively thick card. And here's the back plate here, and this is what you're gonna look at when you have it horizontally mounted, of course. Let's go ahead and take off this plastic cover. Definitely love the look of this card here. It's definitely a nice gamer's touch. All right, here's our port selection here. We're gonna have 2 HDMI ports, followed by 3 DisplayPort inputs here. Overall, I really like the selection that ASUS gives us here. A lot of graphics cards only have 4 inputs, while ASUS is giving you 5. So I'm really surprised to see that. I have their ROG Strix version, so it's really, really nice that they added a 5th input here, especially for those that need it. But overall, the design of this card is very simple. There's not going to be a whole bunch of RGB elements at all. In fact, I'm not sure if it even lights up. That's something that I'm going to have to actually see. We see right on the backplate here, we have 2 different modes that we can choose. We have performance mode, and then we have a quiet mode, and these are the settings that you want move if you want it to be quiet. Other than that, by default, it's usually on the performance mode, which is on the left side. But let me know what you guys think of the design of this GPU. I like it as a nice gunmetal gray. I'm gonna see how it looks on my black gaming PC. All right, now that I have it mounted on my gaming PC, the final thing we have to do here is make sure it's nice and leveled. And I like to use a bubble level, of course, to ensure that it is at least as leveled as possible. Now, this is where this comes into play. And I love this because it has little indicators of each line, so you can kind of progressively know you got to go up or down. So I already have it set up, and all we're going to do here is we're going to place it on the bottom here, and I'm going to lift this up, and that's pretty much it there. Now we can see a nice level. You want to make sure you play with the level all around the GPU, especially on the far right, because as long as that's leveled, then you'll be perfectly fine. And it's very important that you level your GPU, because if it's not leveled, then complications can arise. Now that we have it perfectly vertically mounted, this GPU looks so damn good, especially on my black NZXT H9 Elite case. It looks absolutely beautiful, and I think all GPUs look their best when they're vertically mounted. Let me know what you guys think, if you prefer it to be horizontally mounted or vertically mounted. So now we're ready to plug everything in and see how it looks. Testing out this TUF 4080 Super using 3D Mark benchmarks. I'll start off with their Speedway test, which measures 1440p GPU performance. I got a score of 7,275 with an average FPS of 72.75 frames per second. You're getting about an 18% increase over a 4070 Ti Super, while the RTX 4090 still being a 36% increase. If we compare the TUF Gaming versus the MSI Gaming X Slim, it performs slightly better, while the more premium cards like the ROG Strix and Supreme X pump out a little bit more power, with the more expensive ROG Strix giving you a slight 2.7% increase. So we know when it comes to 1440p performance, this card does amazing numbers, but I think more of you guys would use the 4080 Super for 4K gaming. Using the TimeSpy 4K benchmark, this test performs 2 GPU tests and 1 CPU test. Focusing only on the total graphics score, I got a total of 13,880 and an average of 84.72 frames per second. Similar to Speedway, the TUF Gaming performed better than the Gaming X Slim, with both ROG Strix and Supreme X giving a slight 2 to 4% increase. The last benchmark I did was the DLSS test, and using 4K resolution and DLSS mode set to performance, we get an average FPS of 40.09 without DLSS, and a huge bump up to 133.02 frames per second with DLSS enabled. For most games that support DLSS, this 4080 Super can easily get high FPS in 4K gaming. Next, I loaded up a private Rust map on Modern Warfare 3 using extreme graphic preset settings while using the ROG Swift OLED PG32 UCDM monitor for this test, which has 4K and a max refresh rate of 240Hz. Starting with raw performance with no upscaling or frame generation, FPS will hover around 102 frames per second, which was great. Turning on DLSS and frame generation gave a nice boost, with DLSS quality averaging 135 FPS, while DLSS balance averaged 143 FPS, DLSS performance averaging 150 FPS, and finally DLSS Ultra Performance averaging about 170 frames per second. Now, of course, depending on the game, graphic settings, and DLSS, FPS ranges will vary, but I can confidently say that this card does great 4K performance. So is the ASUS TUF Gaming RTX 4080 Super OC Edition worth the price tag of $1,100? Well, I think if you can find the non-OC version, it is a tremendous value, but chances are super slim. And I think that paying an extra $100 is a slight robbery. At most, it should have been a $50 premium like it is on the ROG Strix cards. Either way, the TUF 4080 Super is still cheaper by $150 for the black ROG Strix or $200 cheaper for the white ROG Strix. I personally prefer the aesthetics of the ROG Strix with the added RGB lighting and sexier design. Even though there is a super slight performance increase, I still would personally choose the ROG Strix purely for the design. Now, it sucks that they don't have a white version of this card, so your only option is this dark gray with this subtle RGB lighting. If you have a white PC build, then obviously getting this card is going to not match very well. This will definitely look a lot better in a black setup. Now, I would recommend the TUF Gaming 4080 Super for those who prioritize 4K gaming performance value and rather put the savings towards other components. I think the extra $250 over the TUF 4070 Ti Super OC is enough to make 4K a way better experience, especially with many monitors offering 240 plus refresh rates. Overall, the TUF 4080 Super is a solid choice. If you're interested in getting the TUF 4080 Super or a complete list of my PC setup, I'll have affiliate links down below which helps and support the Firewolf Tech channel. I hope this video was helpful for you guys, and I would love your support with a like, share, and subscribe. Firewolf out.